I watched my husband's face twist with satisfaction as he defended my sister's ex-husband, and something inside me snapped. The words coming out of his mouth felt like betrayal, each one carving deeper into the fragile space between us. My sister Anne had just left our house, her mascara-stained face still burned into my memory, and here was Tom, my partner of 12 years, basically telling me she deserved everything that happened to her. "You can't seriously be saying this," I said, my voice shaking. I could feel my nails digging into my palms. Tom held up his hands in that infuriating calm way of his. "I'm just being realistic here. Barry was the one home with the kids." The kitchen suddenly felt too small. I had sent the kids to their rooms after Anne left, knowing they didn't need to see their aunt falling apart. Now I wished they were here, if only to force Tom to watch his words. Realistic? My sister just lost primary custody of her children, Tom. She's paying alimony to her ex-husband. She lost the house she helped buy. And you think she should have seen it coming? He leaned against the counter, crossing his arms. I didn't say she should be happy about it. I said she shouldn't be surprised. I stared at him, really looked at him, and wondered when this stranger had replaced my husband. The same man who used to brag about my promotion at dinner parties, who told everyone how proud he was of my career, was now standing in our kitchen suggesting that my sister's professional success had cost her everything that mattered. Anne's face flashed through my mind again, the way she had sobbed into my shoulder just an hour ago, her whole body shaking. 15 years of marriage, gone. 3 kids who would now primarily live with their father, a 6-figure salary that would now fund a life she wasn't part of anymore. She was providing for her family, I said, trying to keep my voice level. I know that. Tom's jaw tightened. But there's a cost to being gone all the time. Barry was there. He was at the soccer games, the parent-teacher conferences, the birthday parties. Where was Anne? Making the money that paid for all of it. My voice rose despite my efforts. Someone had to earn enough for their life. Someone had to have the high-powered job. And because she was good at it, because she succeeded, she's being punished. Tom pushed off from the counter. It's not punishment. It's just how things worked out. The court looked at who had been the primary caregiver and made a decision. The court looked at traditional gender roles and rewarded the man for doing what women have done for centuries without recognition. That's not fair. Fair? I felt something hot and bitter rise in my throat. You want to talk to me about fair right now? He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I usually found endearing. Right now, it just made me angrier. Look, I feel bad for Anne. I really do. But Barry's a good guy. He took care of those kids while she was building her career. And she's a bad person for having ambition? For being successful? I didn't say that. You didn't have to. The silence stretched between us like a canyon. I could hear the old house settling, the refrigerator humming, my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. You know what scares me? I said quietly. We have the same setup. I travel for work. You work from home. You handle more of the kid stuff because my job requires flexibility from both of us. Tom's expression shifted slightly, but he didn't interrupt. If this happened to us, would you say the same things? Would you tell people I should have seen it coming? That there's a cost to my career and I'd be paying the price? That's different. How? How is it different, Tom? He opened his mouth, then closed it. I watched him struggle for words, and in that struggle, I saw something that made my stomach drop. He couldn't explain the difference because there wasn't one. Not really. The only difference was that it hadn't happened to us yet. The kids need you, he finally said. Both parents matter. I agree. Both parents do matter. So why did the court decide Anne mattered less? Why did Barry get everything? Not 50-50 custody, not a shared arrangement, but primary custody. Her visiting her own children on a schedule. Tom's phone buzzed on the counter, but he ignored it. Barry put in the time, day after day, year after year. That matters. So did Anne's paychecks, day after day, year after year. Does that matter less because it came in the form of money instead of carpools? You're twisting my words. I'm trying to understand them. He moved toward me, but I stepped back. I needed space, needed air, needed him to not touch me while defending the destruction of my sister's life. "Baby, I'm not the enemy here," he said softly. "Then stop acting like my sister is." His face hardened. "I never said she was the enemy. I said she made choices, and choices have consequences." Choices? Like choosing to accept promotions? Like choosing to excel at her job? Like choosing to be the breadwinner in her family? Like choosing to be absent from her kids' lives more often than she was present? The words hung in the air like smoke. I felt something crack inside my chest, something fundamental that I wasn't sure could be repaired. "Get out," I whispered. "What?" "Get out of this kitchen. Go somewhere else. I can't look at you right now." Tom's eyes widened. "You're being dramatic." "I'm being dramatic? My sister just had her life torn apart, and you're defending it. You're justifying it. And now I'm wondering if you'd do the same thing to me, given the chance. That's insane." But his voice wavered just enough. "Is it? You work from home. You handle the kids' schedules. You're the one at the school events most of the time. If we split up tomorrow, would you go for primary custody? Would you tell the court I was too busy building my career to be a real mother?" "I would never say that." "But you said it about Anne. You said it tonight to my face while she was falling apart in our living room." Tom grabbed his phone off the counter. "You know what? Fine. I'll go. But when you calm down, you'll realize I'm right. This isn't about gender. It's about being there for your kids." He walked out of the kitchen. I heard his footsteps on the stairs, heard him moving around in our bedroom, heard the guest room door close with a pointed click. I stood alone in the kitchen, shaking. The conversation with Anne replayed in my mind. She had been so broken, so confused about how everything had fallen apart so quickly. The divorce proceedings had been brutal. Barry's lawyer had painted her as an absent mother, more concerned with her career than her children. They'd brought up every missed recital, every business trip that coincided with a holiday, every time Barry had to be the one to stay home with a sick kid. And the worst part? Anne had sat there listening to her own life be twisted into evidence against her, knowing that every fact was technically true, but missing all context. Yes, she traveled. Yes, Barry was home more, but she'd been supporting them, advancing her career so their family could thrive. She'd been doing what millions of men had done throughout history, and unlike those men, she was being destroyed for it. My phone buzzed, a text from Anne. "Thank you for listening today. I don't know what I would do without you." I typed back quickly. "Always here for you. We'll get through this." But would we? Could Anne get through losing her kids? Could I get through knowing my husband thought she deserved it? I heard the kids moving around upstairs. My daughter Emma called down asking if she could have a snack. I told her yes, to come down, my voice automatically shifting into mom mode, even though I felt like I was breaking apart. Emma came into the kitchen, her 9-year-old face still carrying traces of childhood roundness. "Mom, are you okay? You look sad." I pulled her into a hug. "I'm fine, sweetie. Just a long day." "Where's Dad?" "He's upstairs. He'll be back down soon." She pulled away and looked at me with those two knowing eyes. Kids always sensed more than adults wanted them to. "You guys were fighting." Not a question, a statement. "We had a disagreement," I admitted. "Adults disagree sometimes. It's okay." "About Aunt Anne?" I nodded. Emma loved her aunt, loved her cousins even more. The divorce had been confusing for her, all the changes happening so fast. "Is Aunt Anne going to be okay?" Emma asked, opening the pantry. I wanted to say yes, wanted to promise that everything would work out, that fairness and justice would prevail, that women who worked hard and provided for their families wouldn't be punished for their ambition. But I didn't know if any of that was true anymore. "She's going through a really hard time," I said carefully. "But she's strong, and she has people who love her." Emma grabbed some crackers and turned back to me. "Dad said Uncle Barry is keeping the house. Does that mean Aunt Anne doesn't have anywhere to live?" My heart clenched. "She has an apartment now. It's smaller, but it's hers." "That seems mean. It was her house, too." Out of the mouths of babes, my 9-year-old daughter could see the injustice that my husband refused to acknowledge. Sometimes things don't work out the way we think they should, I said, hating how weak that sounded. Emma took her crackers and headed back upstairs. I watched her go, wondering what lessons she was learning from all this. What was she absorbing about women and work and family? What was she learning about her own future possibilities? I pulled out my phone and texted my sister again. Can we meet for coffee tomorrow? Just us? Her response came quickly. Please, I need it. I heard Tom moving around upstairs, heard him talking to the kids. Their laughter filtered down, normal and unchanged, oblivious to the fault lines cracking through the foundation of our family. My phone rang. My mother. Hi, Mom. Your sister called me. Her voice was tight with controlled emotion. She told me about the settlement. Yeah, it's bad. Bad? It's devastating. 15 years of marriage. And this is what she gets? She worked so hard to provide for that family. No, Mom. And Barry's lawyers just eviscerated her, made her sound like some kind of monster for having a successful career, as if men haven't been doing exactly the same thing since the beginning of time without anyone questioning whether they love their children. I could hear the fury in her voice, the same fury I felt burning in my own chest. My mother had worked too, had juggled career and family in an era even less forgiving than now. She understood what Anne was facing in a way Tom apparently never could. Tom doesn't get it, I said quietly. There was a pause. What do you mean? He thinks Anne should have seen this coming, that she made choices and now she's facing consequences. The silence on the other end was arctic. When my mother spoke again, her voice could have cut glass. He said that to you? Tonight? After seeing what your sister is going through? He thinks he's being neutral, seeing both sides. There are no both sides when one person is being systematically punished for success. Tell me you see that. Of course I see it, Mom. I'm furious. Good. Be furious. Your sister needs you to be furious. And you need to have a serious conversation with your husband about what his attitude means for your own marriage. That last part hit like a fist. She'd gone right to the fear I'd been trying to avoid. You think he'd do the same thing to me? I think men who justify this kind of outcome are telling you exactly what they believe, that a mother's place is with her children, regardless of her career or contributions, that being the primary earner doesn't count as much as being the primary caregiver. And if that's what he believes, what happens if things get rocky between you two? I sat down hard on one of the kitchen chairs. I don't know. Figure it out, because your sister didn't see this coming either, and look where she is now. We talked for a few more minutes before hanging up. My mother promised to drive down next week to spend time with Anne to help her navigate the new reality of part-time motherhood and a gutted life. I sat in the quiet kitchen, thinking about all the women who'd been told they could have it all. Career and family, ambition and motherhood, success and love. It had always been a lie, or at least an incomplete truth. You could have all those things, sure, but God forbid you actually succeeded at the career part. God forbid you made more money, traveled for work, climbed the ladder. Then suddenly, all those people who'd encouraged your ambition would turn around and ask where you'd been, why you weren't more present, whether you really loved your children enough. The trap had been there all along. We'd just been too busy climbing to see it. Tom came back downstairs around 9. The kids were in bed. I was sitting in the living room with a glass of wine I hadn't touched, staring at nothing. He sat down across from me, not next to me. The distance felt intentional. I've been thinking, he said. So have I. I don't think I explained myself well earlier. I'm not trying to justify what happened to Anne. I'm just trying to understand it. I looked at him directly. Do you think if we got divorced, you'd seek primary custody? The question clearly caught him off guard. We're not getting divorced. Answer the question. He shifted uncomfortably. I don't know. I guess it would depend on the circumstances. Would you use my career against me? My travel? The times I missed events because of work? I wouldn't use anything against you. It wouldn't be about that. But it was about that for Barry. His lawyers used every single thing about Anne's career to prove she was a bad mother. And it worked. So would you do the same? Tom was quiet for a long moment. If I thought the kids needed me more, if I thought I'd been the more present parent, then yes, I'd probably seek primary custody. Not to hurt you, but because I'd think it was best for them. The honesty was like a knife. Part of me appreciated his honesty, but most of me wanted to throw something at his head. So I should never feel secure, I said flatly. I should know that every business trip, every late meeting, every success at work is potentially ammunition in case you decide to leave me. That's not what I'm saying. That's exactly what you're saying. You're saying that if I prioritize my career the way men have always been allowed to prioritize theirs, I could lose my children. That's the cost of female ambition. Not failure, not lack of recognition, but losing your kids. Tom rubbed his face. You're spiraling. I'm seeing clearly for the first time in years. He stood up. I can't have this conversation if you're going to be irrational. Irrational, right, because caring about my sister and worrying about my own marriage is irrational. You're making this about us when it's about them. It is about us, Tom. Everything about Anne's situation is a warning sign for every woman who thinks she can have a successful career and a family. We're all one divorce away from losing everything we love because we dared to earn more money. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Did I overreact to my husband's comments, or should working mothers worry about how their careers might be used against them?